What if you didn't have any payments? What if there was no Master card? You hadn't discovered bondage or American distress. You weren't caught in a car fleece. You gave Sally Mae her eviction notice and kicked the old woman out into the street. Think about your budget right now. Think about your income. What if you had no car payment, no credit card payments, no student loan payment, no medical bills outstanding? What if you had no debt? What if you had no mortgage payment? All you had to buy was lights, water, and food, some insurance, and you could do some investing. How much would you give if you weren't broke? If you weren't working for everybody else? If you weren't working for Lexus Motor Credit, Toyota Motor Credit, Chrysler Motor Credit, Ford Motor Credit? How many motor credits do I have to give you before you get this? If you weren't working for Countrywide, if you weren't working for Visa and MasterCard and God help you, Bank of America, if you weren't working for Sally Mae, what if you worked for you? What if you had no payments? Would you work at the job you work at if you didn't have to pay payments? Would you take a different job? Would you tell them to take that job and, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Next time the boss comes in being a jerk, you could just start walking out. Where are you going? I don't have any payments. You see, Proverbs 22:7 in the Bible says the borrower is slave to the lender. Now, Dave Ramsey, you're one of those crazy Christian people, aren't you? Yep. Unabashedly so, darling. But it's not really crazy. It's just kind of common sense. The borrower is slave to the lender. You tell me, are you a slave or not? Slaves don't have choices. Other people tell them what to do. Their life is owned by someone else. I owe, so off to work I go, says the bumper sticker. Ha ha, not funny. You spend your whole life giving money to people who have 50-story buildings in the skyline. Guess who paid for those? You. The borrower is slave to the lender. Have you ever thought that it might not be possible to be generous when you're a slave? When someone else controls you, how hard is it to be generous? What if you had no payments? Could you build wealth? The average car payment in America is $504 right now over 84 months. If you invest $504 in a decent growth stock mutual fund that has the rates of returns that my personal mutual funds have had in my personal 401k for the past 40 years, if you were to do that from age 30 to age 70, you'd have about $5.6 million in your Roth IRA. Just the car payment. That's what your car payment's costing you. $5.6 million. Hope you like the car. And they go down in value, like a rock. That's where Chevy gets that, like a rock. What would it be like to have no payments? Would you work where you work if you didn't have to make money to pay other people that you owe? The number of people who change careers or change jobs once they're free and make the most money they've ever made in their lives because they're able to change jobs and make the most money they've ever made in their lives after they get out of debt, it's almost a common occurrence among the debt-free screamers that while they're getting out of debt or post-debt freedom, they make different career choices because they no longer feel trapped. You know why you feel trapped when you got a bunch of payments? Because you're trapped. That's why you feel trapped. The borrower is slave to the lender. The only difference was this was voluntary slavery. You signed up for it. I signed up for it. We were told that this is how you live. The little man can't get ahead. It takes money to make money. You're never going to have anything nice, so you might as well have some decent payments. Get low payments because that's the only way a little man like people in our neighborhood, people like us, people of our ethnic background, the only way we get ahead is payments. You ever heard those sayings? Heard them my whole life. I've heard them from every ethnic background, by the way. I've heard them from Hispanics. I've heard them from African Americans. I've heard them from hillbillies and heard them from Cajuns. Rednecks, Yankees, Dutchmen. I've heard it from every German background. Although most Germans are pretty conservative financially. I've even heard it from Canadians. Go figure. You're not different. Stupid knows no bounds.